Wonder Friends, welcome back and welcome to my kitchen. I hope you had such a great Easter, and we are going to continue with our science lessons this week, but they're going to look a little bit different. We are going to take a break from our World God Made book this week, and we're going to do some fun science experiments with some of the things that you might have received in your Easter basket for Easter. Today we are actually going to do a jelly bean science experiment, and we are going to be looking at and practicing the scientific method and making a hypothesis, which we will talk about. We will be following directions with a procedure. We'll make observations, and then we will draw conclusions after we observe the jelly beans. So here we go. Let's get started. Okay, friends, if you could, please go ahead and have out your sheet that looks like this, and it says Jelly Bean Science up at the top. And I'm going to ask you to follow along with me. We are going to go over this graphic organizer together, and then we'll get started with our experiment. So first, let's write our name up at the top. And we are going to take a look at the materials. This word says materials, and that means the things that we need for this experiment. So let's take a look. We are going to need 5 clear cups. So we're going to write 5 clear cups as our first material that we need for this experiment, okay? Next, we're also going to need some warm water. So we'll write that on our paper, warm water. And finally, we are going to need jelly beans, and I have pulled 5 jelly beans of each color, but it doesn't really matter how many jelly beans you use if you want to do this experiment at home with us. All right, so next we need to take a look at our procedure. Ooh, what does that big word mean? Procedure means like the directions we need to follow or the steps that we need to follow for this experiment to be successful. So the first step that we need to do is sort. Ooh, what does that word mean, sort? That means organize. So first we are going to sort the, what do you think? Jelly beans. Yes, we're going to sort the jelly beans. And next, we are going to pour water in each cup. Okay, the next step that we are going to follow, or the next step in our procedure, is to wait 1 hour. And after that 1 hour, we are going to take a look at our jelly beans in each of our cups, and we're going to see what happens to them. And after we've looked after 1 hour, we're going to wait another 24 hours to see what happens to our jelly beans after they've sat in the cup with warm water. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We are going to sort our jelly beans, and I'm going to start with the first color of the rainbow, which is red. We'll put those in a clear cup. What color do you think I'm going to do next? Orange. Here's all the orange jelly beans. Next, we'll do yellow. We'll do green. And then we'll do the pink ones. We're not going to do this color. Okay, so we have sorted the jelly beans, and our next step says to pour the water in each cup. So I'm just going to pour about half full in each one of our cups here. Remember, this is warm water, not cold water. And we are then going to wait. How long? What did our procedure say? It says to wait 1 hour. So we need to make a hypothesis. Ooh, that's a big word. What's a hypothesis? A hypothesis means a guess. So we're going to make a guess on what we think is going to happen to the jelly beans and the water that the jelly beans are sitting in. So we're going to start our hypothesis with I. Remember, we always capitalize I. Think that. And you are going to finish that sentence with what you think is going to happen to the jelly beans and the water that it is sitting in. And then after 1 hour, we're going to come back and we're going to see what happened to the water and the jelly beans. And then we'll observe after 24 hours and draw a picture and see what happened. And then we'll make a conclusion after we've observed the jelly beans to see what happened. All right, friends, stay tuned. It's time to wait 1 hour. Okay, friends, it has been 1 hour since we put our jelly beans in the water. Now it's time to take a look at each of our cups. There's red, orange, yellow, green, and the pink jelly beans. Notice how the top of our water is still pretty clear, but then down toward the bottom, what is happening? What are we observing that's happening to our water that was once clear? It's changing colors, isn't it? The water is taking on the color of that jelly bean. And then I want you to notice too, look at the top of each of our cups. What do you see up there? I'm going to move the angle here. Look, friends, I see lots of white little flakes. What do you think those white flakes are up at the top of our water? What is all that stuff floating around? Think it's sugar? Do you think it's maybe coating from the jelly beans that's starting to come off, and maybe those jelly beans are starting to dissolve in our water? You know what I think is funny? These were Starburst jelly beans. Do you see how the label of the Starburst that was on each of the jelly beans is starting to come off and float to the top of the water? How fun is that? Okay, so let's take a look at our paper here. And I am going to color what is happening to our water after 1 hour. So I've drawn a little cup here, and I'm gonna put the jelly beans. How many jelly beans did we put in the bottom again? 5. We've got 5 jelly beans, and I'm gonna color the bottom of the water is taking on a light color green. But remember, friends, the top part of the water is still pretty clear and has those white flakes up at the top. So I'm just going to leave the top part of the water clear. And then we're going to come back after 24 hours and we're going to see what happens to our water. And then we'll draw our conclusions to see if our hypothesis or the guess that we made is correct. Okay, boys and girls, it has been 24 hours. And last time we checked on our jelly beans, we observed that our water was starting to turn a light green color, a light red color, orange, yellow, and pink. But the top part of our water was still pretty white, right? So now that it's been 24 hours, it is time to check on our jelly beans in our water. Are you ready? Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Look at that. The whole cup of water is red, orange, yellow, green, and pink. Wow. Okay, so let's take a look and see how our jelly beans changed. Also, we see how the water changed. I think it'll be fun to compare the original jelly beans. See, there's our red, orange, yellow, green, and pink. I want to go ahead and take a jelly bean out of each cup and see how the jelly bean changed after soaking in the warm water for 24 hours. What are you noticing about our jelly bean? They've changed colors. They're not as vibrant as they were or colorful and bright. They've shrunk. Didn't they change in size a little bit? Look at that. They got so much smaller, didn't they? They started to dissolve sitting in that water. And notice we've got more white stuff that's floating at the top of our water as well. What do you think that white stuff is? You think it's coating and sugar from the jelly beans, maybe? I think that would be a great guess. All right, good job today, boys and girls. So over here on our sheet, I'm going to go ahead and use a brighter, more vibrant green crayon, and I'm going to draw and color this cup much more full with green water. And you can do the same on your paper. You didn't have to color it green. You could have done any color. And then for our conclusion, or the answer that we came to, I wrote my hypothesis was right because I pretended that my prediction or my hypothesis was that I think the water will change colors. But maybe you had a different guess, and that's okay. That's what makes science experiments so fun. All right, boys and girls, I'll see you tomorrow.